Come thou fount. Come thou fount of every blessing, tune thy heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, hung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mount I'm fixed upon it, mount of thy redeeming love. Here I raise mine Ebenezer, hither by thy help I'm come, and I hope by thy good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Jesus sought me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God. He to rescue me from danger interposed his precious blood. Oh, to grace how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. Let thy grace, Lord, like a fetter, bind my wandering heart to thee. Wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, Lord, take and seal it for thy courts above. Amen. Great singing, and thank you, Abby. Praise the Lord.
Good job, Everett. Piece of paper went down in between the wall.
Oh, man, I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't do it again.
The wall ate it. Okay,
Well,
Pastor,
yeah.
what's an Ebenezer?
Ebenezer, man, so here I raised mine Ebenezer, and I remember I had a whole message I sat through on this message. It had to do with a monument, right, to God, a memorial to God, and you're not going to get more out of me tonight than that, but the idea is here I raised mine Ebenezer. It's a monument to God of what he's done.
Because all I can think of is Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah. Yeah, is it pre-salvation, post-salvation? I don't know which one. All right, so we're going to have missions night tonight. Excited. So it's been really since our missions conference, since we've had an opportunity to hear from any of our missionaries. That was mid to late March. Here we are in mid-May. And so we've got some missions letters. And then we're going to hear at about 7:15 Skype in the Midlands. I don't know whether Jonathan and Annika will show up, whether it just be Brother Jonathan, I have no idea. I don't even know if it'll work, so we'll find out. But hopefully we tried a couple times, and last week, if you remember, the missions apartment they were staying in, it didn't have Wi-Fi, and so that didn't quite work. So hopefully they'll get that worked out today, and excited to hear from them what's going on. They're basically every time that they could be in a service, like if there's a church somewhere around where they're at that's having service, they're there. So Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. I do not think there have been any gaps. I mean, they were just super, super busy. And so they got done with Wednesday night service probably right about now, and they're going to head back, and then they're going to be Skyping us. So they're super, super busy, and they're looking forward to getting on to the field of Manila. So that'll be good. We also have a letter from, which is a little bit old. We may have read this one. I'm not sure. Joel and Michelle Reesner, but it'd be good to just refresh our memories. A new one from the Kecks, April 2019. Let me do this. Who would like to read a letter? All right, you want to read the Keck here? Can I do what? Can I give Jeff the mic? Sure, I was going to hand them out first, but yeah. So, Brother Johnny, I saw your hand. Buford's. Miss Kitty, you want one? You got one. You wanted one? You okay. Here, I'm going to give you Rock of Ages. That was, brother, is that not what you wanted? Okay, it's fine. It's fine. And then Brother AJ, which I don't know. You can kind of look through and see if there's anything in there to read. And so, yeah, why don't we go ahead and read. Now, okay, hold on. So we're going to pray. Does everybody have paper and pen? Amen. All right. John is like, or a phone or an electronic device of some kind. I mean, something, right? Okay.
Ready? Yeah. All right. This is from the Kex. For 2 points, where are the Kex 2? Nobody gets any points because I didn't see hands raised. I don't know who to give it to. Larry, Brother Larry.
Bougainville.
Bingo. 3 points because of excitement. Dear pastors and friends, contaminated river. This reminds me of a contaminated hot tub, only way worse. There is a little river 5 minutes from our house that looked like a fun area for the kids to play and get some relief from the heat. We ventured down to the river and the kids loved it. They had so much fun and we thought we had found a great activity near our house. A day later, we all started getting infected sores. Garrett got the worst of it, with sores all over his face. We took him to see the New Zealand nurse that I mentioned in my last letter. When she heard we went swimming in the river, she said that all the rivers around Bruin are contaminated and to stay out of them. We drove 3 hours to Arwa for antibiotics for Garrett. Can you imagine 3 hours just get antibiotics? 3 hours. That's a long drive just for antibiotics. Okay. The next morning, he woke up with his eyes swollen due to an allergic reaction to the antibiotic. So back to Ara we went to change his medication. Garrett's sores have all healed and he is all better now. Through it all, God allowed us to meet the head doctor at Arwa Hospital, who was a big help in getting the right antibiotics for Garrett. This relationship is going to be helpful for any minor medical issues in the future. Okay, from contaminated river, now over to power outages. Our town power has been off more than on lately. My generator that I brought over from the U.S. is not working, and I can only get parts in the U.S. I was able to borrow a generator from the Chinese construction company in town, but after several weeks of intermittent power outages, I decided to invest in a new generator. After going to Arwa, yes, another 3-hour drive, to purchase a generator, the new generator died after only using it for a week. Back to Arwa again. It is not common for stores in PNG to stand behind their products. The general rule is once sold, it's your problem. After talking to the owner of the store, he agreed to exchange my generator for a new one. This was a huge answer to prayer. When our power goes out, we usually lose our internet and phones too. So if you'd tried to contact me this last month, I apologize if I have been unreachable. Funeral. In the last week, 2 families that have been attending Bruin Baptist Church have had family members pass away. One evening last week, I heard sirens in the town and received word that Stephen's dad was hit by a drunk driver and killed while walking along the road. Stephen has been coming faithfully to church now for 2 months. My heart grieves for Stephen and his family. I was able to spend some time with the family the night of the accident. Please pray for Stephen and his family. The other family that had a relative pass was out of town, so I've not been able to talk to them yet. But pray for the Pekui family too. P-E-K-U-I. For God's glory, the Keck family. So what I remember is, they're healed from the contaminated river. So that's a praise. Power outages, it's a praise that he got a new generator. And then funeral, pray for Stephen's family. Because his dad was hit, killed. And then for the PQ family. All right. Good?
Should we pray that his new generator doesn't die?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you imagine that? I mean, the whole 3-hour drive to really get anything, antibiotics or generator or anything else. And then, I mean, let's continue to pray for the health of their family. And,
Yeah, just think, like, you couldn't just go to Lake Sammamish and get in the water.
right,
You, like, see the water, it looks cool.
that's crazy. All right, the Kecks. Let's continue to be in prayer. Hey, Brother Lucas, can you message Jonathan and see if he's available? Because we're at about time. He does say that the road to Arawa is long but beautiful. So at least it's apparently scenic. Although, from the little picture here, I don't know if they have any paved roads, maybe in town. I don't know, but it's certainly not paved. And they've got 4x4s. Yeah, I don't think it's a Cherokee there, Brother Larry, but yeah. Any response? Let's do it. Let's go for the call. And if not, we'll read another letter. Are you gonna? All right, who wants to read another letter? Brother Johnny? Or, I don't know.
So, the Reasoners report. Greetings once more from the land of Russia. It is good to be back in the place to which God has called us to serve. When we arrived back in January, we were overwhelmed by the outpouring of love from the people here. They have been so kind and gracious. It has been a much needed help in a time when so much has changed in our family. Being in Russia for the first time as parents has opened our eyes to a whole new side of Russian culture. I feel like we did read this before.
Well, I think
Right, yeah. Which has brought with it a degree of culture shock. We have had to learn patience and grace as we have been scolded for endangering our baby due to superstitious beliefs that Russian ladies have about things like how much a baby is held, how close he can sleep next to a window, etc. We are first-time parents with all the worries and fears that entails, and yet we've met Russian mothers that make us look laid back in comparison with all their concerns and opinions on how it has to be done. Most of the changes have been a joy to experience. However, I can already see how God has used our new little family member to change the way people see him. They have seen firsthand the results of years of prayer and how wonderful God's timing truly is. God has brought to us many young families who have just begun to have kids, and we now have a bond with them that wouldn't be there if God had followed the timetable we envisioned when we were first married. In addition, we have just started a new Sunday school program that is run entirely by the church members themselves. Although our 6-month absence was hard for both us and the church, it made room for God to work in the hearts of the Russians to step up in ways they hadn't thought of before. And the church has maintained that momentum, even to the point that God led us to choose the theme this year of God's Church, My Responsibility. How wonderful it is to watch God work. And then you want me to read Michelle's also?
Yeah.
All right, from Michelle. Some of you may remember when I asked prayer for my friend Tanya several months ago after her husband left her. She has since been baptized and become much more faithful. She is learning to allow God to be to be her strength, and it has been such an encouragement to watch. When I remind her of my prayers, she reminds me to pray for her husband as well. I truly believe he is running from God more than from her. He was so close to salvation many years ago, but has never been able to accept that salvation is by grace through faith and nothing to do with ourselves. Please pray for Anton. I have been trying to get back to my Russian studies, but having a baby has greatly affected my schedule. Ha! But I am taking back over the ladies' meetings and giving the dear lady who stood in the gap while I was gone a break. It is so much harder trying to speak and remember a second language while being exhausted. But I love the ladies' meetings and am so thankful for the reason of my exhaustion. Joel mentioned the outpouring of love upon our return. After traveling with a baby for the first time, I was physically and emotionally drained. We came home to a house that had been freshly cleaned and a fridge that had been stocked with food. Yes, I cried. God is so good. We are home.
All right. So I wrote down also continued service of church members, that they would continue, right, in the way that they stepped up and lead and teach Sunday school, etc. And then also the Russian studies for Michelle. That's got to be crazy difficult. I do remember, I don't remember if I told this story before, but when we were adopting our boys in Kazakhstan, and it's like 70 degrees out, and they wouldn't let us go take the kids out unless we had like stocking hats on them because they were going to get sick. So we you get them out there and they're just like sweating. And so we're like looking around and finally like take their coat off and, but you're going to have these like little Russian grandmothers that are just going to be yelling at you because you're like killing your kid. So that's hasn't changed. All right, so he says, okay, give me a sec, right, Lucas? Did I see that correctly? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Jamming in church. Brother Jonathan, can you hear us?
Hello, yes, sir. We can hear you.
Hey, good evening. Can you still hear us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me well?
Okay, yep, I can hear you. So how are you guys doing this evening?
Amen.
It says poor connection.
Good. Can you see me?
No, but it also says poor connection, so I don't know. We'll see if it works. Is your video enabled?
Yes. Let's see.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, your smiling
Man,
face.
how's everything going?
Good.
Yeah.
Now, you guys just
Yeah.
got done with services there in Texas, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I stepped inside a ACE Sunday schoolroom. But yeah, yes, sir. Actually, that a different church, and then we made it over here to another church in Amarillo that has the missions department, and I hooked up Skype, but it didn't work, so I downloaded it real quick on my wife's phone, and so that's what we're on now.
Nice. Well, hey, thanks for being resourceful. I appreciate it.
Amen. All thanks to all men. Right?
Yes, yeah. Okay, so Brother Jonathan, why don't you give us an update where, what God's doing, where you guys are at, and just tell us a little bit about where, kind of current state of deputation.
Yes, well, we thank you so much for your prayers, support, and partnering with us financially. It's a huge blessing, and of course, our sending church. You were just there,
Right.
and you get to meet my parents, right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I
And
apologize.
we
No, I'm
still
just kidding.
we still took you on
Yeah.
for support. Don't worry.
Yeah, they're interesting folks, but yeah, they're a blessing. Yes. So tonight was church number 101. Amen.
Wow.
I didn't tell them that, but church 101 that we've been at, and so we've since we were y'all, we've been nonstop. So there hasn't been a Sunday morning or Sunday night or Wednesday night where we haven't been somewhere. And then a lot of churches, like you're aware, have a Thursday service, so we do that too. So we'll be heading to one of those. Yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow we'll head the one in, and then we'll be in Colorado. But so, but God's blessed. Staying busy. It's coming. It's helped deputation go quicker. But we'll do it while we're young. Amen.
Yeah. Yeah. So where are you at from
So,
a support perspective?
Yeah, by God's grace, about 65% now.
Amen.
Yeah, and we started in September there at the GIBF conference there in Chicago. So, but when I got the email that you all had partnered with us for support, that was definitely a huge blessing. Thank you for that. And we ran into the Bufords, and I said, I think when I was up there, I remember them saying that y'all were saying that you were helping them go take their daughters to Disney, and then they brought you up, and so it was neat to put that together. But they really love y'all, and yeah, we were with them in Oklahoma City, but
Amen. Amen. Yeah,
yeah.
we love the Bufords, and we're just grateful we were able to do that and partner with them as well.
Yeah. So deputation, about we've been to 101 churches so far, 65% done, and so praying to be done soon, Lord willing, early next year, by God's grace. But we have a full line of staying busy in churches all through the summer and the fall months as well. So prayers for us, definitely be safety on the road. We haven't gotten in any accidents yet. I've only got one ticket. Amen. I don't know how that, but only one ticket so far. So I'm thankful for that.
Yes.
Yeah. And my theme verse is redeeming the time, for the days are evil. that means speeding. Amen.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's the verse for speeding.
It's a little loose interpretation there, but yeah.
Yeah. You got the Old Testament, the king's business requireth haste. Amen.
Yes.
But
So how's your family, Brother Jonathan? Because you've got a very busy schedule, and how are they doing?
Well, my son thinks it's all for him. He likes being at a new nursery every church. We don't drive long. We haven't driven more than. It's been a long time since we've driven more than 9 hours in one day. So it's God's blessed, like with meetings all in one area. Washington was a huge blessing. Washington State. That was, of course, we were just starting then, but we were in 25 churches there in the state, all back to back.
Wow.
So east and then west and then back east. But so the travel part isn't so hard on him. He travels good.
Good.
He the drive here today, he took a nap for 2 hours. We drove from the Dallas area, but yes, and my wife, I couldn't ask for more. In fact, let's see if I can get them. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love that.
Mal, hey, this is Annika. She is
Hi.
some dinner. But yeah.
Yeah. So
how are y'all?
good. How are you?
We're good.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah. Thank you. It looks like we interrupted your dinner, but thank you so much.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're so blessed to have you all as a supporting church. I was just telling them that you're the best wife I could possibly ask for, right?
Oh,
yeah.
She's awesome, she's happy as long as we stop at a Chick-fil-A every once in a while.
yeah.
And
That-
if we're driving through Waco, which we've done, we have to stop at I don't know where all the Baptist ladies go in Waco. The Chip and Joanna Gaines, I guess. I don't know what's that. But we did that, so she's happy. Amen.
Yeah.
And then this is Jason.
Say hi.
Say hi to Pastor.
Hey,
Say hi, Pastor.
Jason. Super
You remember
cute.
Pastor? Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember that church? You got your Yakult? Yeah.
Okay. So that's
And
why you're
happy
getting all
Mother's
your
Day,
support
Papa.
right there. Your wife and your
Yeah,
your
it's
son
not
right
me.
there.
It's my wife. It's my wife and my son. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're a,
Amen. So Brother Jonathan, you mentioned safety on the road. What else can we pray specifically for you? Obviously that you continue to get support and health and things like that. Anything else?
yes, definitely. Well, support health for sure. Those general ones, but that God would continue to use us. We stay spiritually fresh, pray for spiritual freshness. When so, for different churches, I've showed up on an empty gas tank, but I don't want to show up on an empty spiritual tank, amen. So, just because you're ministering in 4 different places, you still want to, be, and of course, in touch with God yourself, because when you do deputation, some of it, it's the same you're talking about, and of course, your burden's growing the whole time. You're talking about a lot of the same things. You're relating the burden, and so you never want to get in a rut. And so up till now, God's blessed in that way. We want us to stay spiritually fresh throughout the process, and then and be a blessing where we're at. Definitely that as well. So we have been, it's been a blessing. We've seen a couple through traveling and challenging, about 3 or 4 now that have young people who've surrendered to be missionaries. So
Amen.
so that's a blessing. It's not just reputation is not just fundraising. Of course, it's also raising awareness of missions all around. So that's also part of the what we do our ministry. And so we've been blessed to have 4 surrender that way, and then of course we would continue to be able to be a gospel witness as well while we're here, and leading soul surprise, telling them about the gospel in the different places where we're at. I found out people can get saved even in Arkansas, man. I didn't think it was possible, but I'm just kidding.
Amen.
Yes, sir. So those, yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Brother Jonathan? Okay, hold on. We're gonna do this.
So, Jonathan, how many different
Yay.
sermons do you rotate through as you go through these churches? Because you're get to preach 3-4 times a week at least.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
just preach the same
Yeah.
sermon every time?
No. No. So as it's a funny story, but when we began deputation, for us, uh, I'd been serving for a while, so I had, I have everything on a computer. I try to be techie, but I'm not as up to speed as Pastor Joel. I still have the handwritten sermons, and I had 2 shoe boxes full of them. Okay, so I'm loading up our car with everything for deputation, and we're getting ready to drive to Chicago, and my son is in the bath in the other room, and I just step out for 2 minutes. I come back, he baptized both of those shoe boxes and just threw them in the tub, and I got him out of there quick enough, but I didn't know if God wanted me to not use any of those or what. But so I don't use the same message. You got to be sensitive to God's spirit, of course, number one, but also for me, if I'm just packing up my suitcase and moving on to the next, and always, you have to stay spiritually for yourself, so you discern. For instance, like at Southwest Oklahoma City, that it was a morning of the conference, and it was mostly students, so it's going to be a different message. I'm not. It's not going to be about faith promise so much, as surrendering to God's call. So it's different places. If it's a church many years and now they're struggling, then it's going to be different, than a brand new one. So being sensitive to God in that way, but mainly, there's 5 or 6 that I always have, in mind and in heart to go with. But God can lead another direction. In fact, one church, this was all the way up in Minnesota in January, so it was freezing. But I got there, and that Saturday night, the pastor said, "Okay, I want you to preach on this on Sunday school, and I want you to preach on this on Sunday night, and I want you to preach on this Sunday morning." And so he said, what was it, Sunday morning? He says, "Preach the best salvation message you have." I don't know what any message on salvation is the best, amen. But Sunday night, preach on faithfulness to God, and Sunday school, I forget exactly what he said on that one, But it's all types of different situations. Also, God's blessed for us. I don't know how it worked out this way, but even now we were up your way in Thanksgiving, and we were with your dad, Johnny, there for that service. So that was a Tuesday Thanksgiving service. So that's going to have a Thanksgiving feel to it. And Christmas morning, we were up in Canada, and so you know we haven't had even the holidays. We've been Mother's Day, so Mother's Day missions, amen. Mary stood by the cross. So you have to be flexible on those things. Yeah. What's the next holiday coming up? I don't know. Father's Day too. We're in the mission conference somewhere.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Brother Jonathan? No. All right. Well, hey, we know it's late, Brother Jonathan, and I know you guys are super busy. You're going tomorrow night as well. We're just thankful that you took the time to connect with us. We're very thankful to hear that you're at 65% and looking forward to just seeing you guys on the field as soon as possible. And I believe that you will hit that goal.
Praise the Lord. Well, thank you so much, Pastor Joel and church, for the privilege of partying with us, and we're excited about what God's doing there too. Amen. The great city of Seattle. Yeah. I remember when I was there, you had mentioned you were just entering into the depression time. I don't know what that's called when it's cloudy. Are you out of that now in Seattle?
Yeah, we had the Seattle false summer. So a couple weeks of really nice weather, and then it's trying to decide what it's going to do. But don't worry, it'll be raining. So with some nice weather sprinkled in. But all right, Brother Jonathan, thank Annika for us, and
yes.
And you guys have a wonderful night. We'll be praying for you.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor and church. God bless.
All right, God bless.
Bye.
Amen. He is a talker. Yeah. His son is adorable, though. I mean, that's like, that's why you're at 65% and you start. He's just like, hey, going from church to church, because everywhere I go, people love me. I didn't hear end. Early.
He's been on 8 months at 65. So
Oh, he's cranking. I mean, that's why his. If I could say it this way, his work ethic is phenomenal. I mean, every opportunity to be in a church to present their burden, like they're there, and they're going to do extremely well. And we did have an opportunity to meet his parents, and I was kidding. They're great people, and they're veteran missionaries to the Philippines, and so just very excited for what they're going to do. Okay. Yeah, and everywhere you go, to be like the perfect missionary wife with your perfect missionary kid, and amen. All right, who has a letter they want to read? Brother Larry. All right, come and read it.
Bufords, and April 2019. Pastor Creekmore and Bellevue Baptist Church, thank you for your continued prayer for our family. The end of March was a trying time for our family as we were dealing with grief and trying to stay focused on our mission of raising support. I'm excited to share with you all that the Lord has been working on in an amazing way since my brother-in-law's funeral. For years, we have prayed for my wife's family to get saved. Since the weeks after the funeral, Cassandra has been able to talk with many of her family members about salvation. Her parents, brother, and his girlfriend have been attending our home church almost faithfully since the funeral. Cassandra was even able to lead her brother's girlfriend to the Lord 2 weeks ago. Both her parents have given my pastor a clear testimony of salvation, and we praise God for that. Both her parents have given my pastor a clear testimony of salvation. We praise God for that. The Lord has taken a tragedy and used it to bring Cassandra's family closer to Him. Please continue to pray for them, that they will continue to stay faithful and grow. So prayer for Cassandra's family. The beginning of the month, we started off back on the Navajo reservation. We had the privilege of presenting our ministry to different churches on the reservation. It was a good reminder to continue to pray for more laborers on the Navajo reservation. So there's point number 2, laborers on the Navajo reservation. As of today, we have a total of 7 Navajo churches supporting us. It's a real encouragement to know we have our own people who are behind us wanting to get the gospel to Uganda. Since we were near home, my family and I were able to go back to Farmington and take part in the Lord's Supper with our church family. It was a blessing to see our church family and spend such an important moment for any Christian with them. We finish off the month in April in Ohio. It was a change of scenery and weather. We left New Mexico with the weather being 87. Then Amarillo, Texas went down to 50 to 60 with high wind gusts, and we ended our month in Ohio with 35 degrees. We will be heading to Virginia at the end of this week, and we'll be there for almost 2 weeks and make our way to Tennessee and finish the month of May there. The Lord has blessed us tremendously. We are excited to say that we are at 60% of our needed support. Amen. Thank you again for your faithful prayers and support. And then they handily put prayer requests at the bottom. They would like us to pray for the remaining 40% of financial support and startup costs for their field. Salvation for Alexis and Aaliyah, their daughters. Comfort for the Carr family, C-A-R-R, which I assume is probably Cassandra's family. And the fourth one is safety as we travel. For His glory, Alex and Cassandra Buford.
Reads this, we're not supporting the Hohen Streets, but we just had him in with his prison ministry to incarcerated soldiers. And so I wanted to read this, his prayer letter, and then let's pray for him.
Okay, the Rock of Ages Ministries, April 22nd, 2019. Dear praying family and friends, thank you. The words are simple but heartfelt. A young Marine recently asked me to thank those who make our ministry possible. At his request, I would like to relay a hearty thank you from all the incarcerated military personnel we minister to. Almost daily, men like the Marine I mentioned above sends thanks from the military prison on Joint Base Lewis McChord. Many others thank us for our ministry when we travel to other military correctional facilities across the nation. We are so very grateful for your help in reaching America's incarcerated service members. With the arrival of a new military chaplain comes the very real possibility of new residence or ministry challenges. But the Lord has once again given us favor. The revival at the Miramar Brig went well, and the new Navy chaplains seem accommodating and receptive. The revival service attendance was lower than recent years, but the Lord allowed us to see 4 men and 1 young lady saved. Praise the Lord for our continuing ministry on MCAS Miramar. The Easter revival at the military prison on JBLM concluded on Resurrection Sunday evening, and a total of 7 revival services were preached, 2 of which had over 50% of the facility in attendance. Currently, the prison has many new inmates, so we subsequently had many first-time chapel attendees. The Lord worked in amazing ways, and many men had true revival. Each service was well received with a great invitation response. It was a blessing to see so many men gathered at the altar in prayer. 11 men made public professions of faith, and many others made life-changing decisions for Christ. On the home front, as I mentioned in earlier letters, we are anticipating a wonderful May. On May 10th, after 4 years of hard work, Leanne will graduate from Pensacola Christian College with a Bachelor of Science in Studio Arts. You may remember that she graduated high school a year early with no formal graduation ceremony. So this will be her first official graduation, have yet to be This will be her first official walk-in cap and gown. Christine and I are so very proud of her ambition, self-motivation, and hard work. Leanne's plans after graduation have yet to be settled, so please keep her in prayer as she seeks God's will. Shortly after Leanne's graduation, we expect Allison to deliver our first grandson. Baby Harry IV is due on or around May 20th. Please continue to pray for Harry, Mommy, and baby Harry. Thank you for affording us the privilege of representing you and your churches on the incredible mission field of America's military prisons. We love and appreciate you all.
I do have an update on baby Harry.
Okay.
I saw it on Facebook, but then I was texting with Lisa this afternoon, and baby Harry was born. He was 11 pounds, like
Wow.
something ounces, 8 ounces or something. He was a big, big boy, and he's got cheeks to pinch. And there's just a lot of Harry to love. And but there was some initial complications, I think. But it sounds like now mom and baby are doing well. So praise the Lord for that. He came a couple days ago now, I think.
Amen.
They were waiting to go home.
Amen. Now, I think we had AJ. Why don't we skip AJ, because we got to see him on that. And I would just say
I read over it. There's
nothing, yeah.
There's nothing. The only specific prayer request that we just need to keep in mind is for sound system, because that was something he had
Right.
also asked for. So other than that, I think there's nothing new for us.
And let's pray for the two visitors that he had, and the one of which that he got to give a clear gospel presentation afterwards. Let's pray for that individual as well. Regarding the Hohen Streets, I know, he was very transparent about his dad passing, if you remember, and we're here, and that's been super difficult for him. And I know on Facebook that the fact that now he's got a grandson has certainly helped, but let's continue to pray. He didn't ask for it, but continue to pray for grace for him, and healing with the loss of his dad.
So his dad died after they were here?
No, his dad died a good 9 months ago-ish, something. It was very unexpected. His dad was a pastor, and he took it really, really hard.
Yeah.
And it's really affected him. And so just pray for grace. All right, so we're going to pray. Now, so here's what we're going to do. Anybody have any very pressing prayer requests?